Hey folks, Jonathan here, working on the upholstery. I'm an upholsterer, not a seamstress. I've never made a dress, and I don't plan to until Noah needs one. Anyway, got the backs done, both of them. Like them, I like the way it turned out. The bottoms, I kind of screwed up, I guess, or I didn't screw up, somebody did. All four of my inserts was laying in here, and you see this line, they got folded in half and left a line in them. Now this one is the first one that I've done, and it's almost gone, so I'm thinking they're going to come out, I hope, but you can see them in the bottoms too. But anyway, the backs are finished and done, and we cleaned up and painted the arms and on the frames and everything. It worked out really well, looks really nice. They're not too tight, not too loose, and I just had good luck with these for some reason. But anyway, I wanted to show you the seam that I done for the material. Instead of doing two seams in the corners, I done one seam here, and I sewed it, triple 3 times and made it, look a little different. But I think that worked out well. Inserts are wide, especially compared to the back, but the back, it's got the armrests, so the seats are a lot narrower, so I went, wider with the inserts on this. And I don't know if I like it or not, but I don't see it as being an issue. And as you can see, the seat cover I've done, my practice one the first one I ever done, you can see how far off it was from where they would have lined up. I probably could have worked with it, but I didn't like it real well. So anyway, so now it's time to take this apart, the bottom, and like I said, I'm going to save these inserts and for a pickup truck seat or something. But we're going to take it apart, and then we're going to put it together. I've already got my measurement between on left and right, so I can try to get my seams to line up as good as I can. And everything else is looking really well. No problems. I don't think it's going to be a big issue doing this, but I am going to increase the foam size. I went 1 inch on the foam, which is about what it would have had, with that cotton and stuff. But I think I'm going to increase it to 2 inch like I did the bottom back, and I think it'll make it a little bit more comfortable. And fill it out, and you see this angle, we can get that good and straight. And just like I said, this was my first this was the learning experience, and it's not, like I said, not tight enough. And I didn't I could have gotten, you can see this goes up, I could have gotten that out by pulling it harder here and pulling it straight, but like I said, it is what it is, and we'll get it back apart. I like this material, and this look a little better. And I do wish I maybe would have went narrower with the inserts now, but I don't think it's going to matter really. Once in there, it's still going to look good either way. And next, as soon as I get through with this, I am going to touch on something else. I've got a subscriber that's actually sending me a book on it, but I have actually done a little bit of research on it before. I want to do some wood graining on garnish moldings and possibly the dashboard of that, the same car. And I'm going to see if we can't learn how to do that, practice up a little bit, and do some of it and make it look, make it look good. I think that this particular material would look really good with a wood grain dash and a wood grain garnish moldings. And I wasn't planning on doing the full dash. I've seen some full dashes done, but we'll do at least the top of it, and the wrap around, and then garnish moldings, maybe the windshield moldings and stuff. But we'll see how it looks and how it works out. But I've, like I said, done some studying on it. It don't seem to be something that's that hard to do. So we'll try it, and if we mess up, we'll do it over again. I mean, it's not rocket science. So anyway, I appreciate everybody, all the good comments and stuff on this. I see my own mistakes, the little things, and I want to make it better. And I'm not putting myself down as much as I'm just wanting to improve on what I do. And You know, the best job I can do is what I want. And you know, a lot of times I'm not happy with my finished products, but usually if I'm not happy with them, I do like this one. I rip it all back apart and start over. I'm happy with the back ones. You know, there's little things I might would have changed. You know, the narrower inserts, but it looks good. Looks alright. I don't know. I think the back ones look too narrow, but I had to make them narrow because the seat's not very wide. And these ones may look a little wide because the back ones are narrow, but we'll see how it all looks together. And you know, it's all the same material and you know, all that, so I don't see that as being a big issue. And maybe with the seat wider and you know than the other one, it should correspond good with each other anyway. So I've got a lot of the window. I've got window channels coming. I got a new glass for the passenger side. The cat whiskers, pieces that hold them in. Pretty much everything we need to get the doors right, the windows right on the Studebaker before we do the door panel. So I don't know how long it's going to take for that stuff to come in. Hopefully the next few days, and we can get on that and get it done and make them windows roll up and down right and look right and all that good stuff. So anyway, alright, let me get to work. We're going to get this one torn apart and go ahead and get started making a new one. Alright. Okay, I think I got this. Hopefully it'll work out okay. It's pretty straight. I've got the insert in the center, so now we'll sew a couple on the ends, and then we'll be able to take this other one apart and get the exact shape of the top we need, and we'll go from there. Okay folks, next day, and we're working on the bottom. I got the piping done for it, so now we got to flip it over, lay it down and mark it out. I'm going to show you how I do it. I think that most of this is just a guess until you know enough to be experienced at it, and then it's you're doing it by experience. But you know, when you're first starting out like this, how far you cut it, you know, how far overhang or a little of overhang is all up in the air as a guess. And just like with machine work, I seem to be too close on tolerance. In other words, I think I was cutting back too far, worrying about whether this, you know, this thing was going to be tight or not, because I want to get it tight, but of course you don't want it too tight. And I think most of the time I was getting things too tight. So you know, I've learned to loosen up a little bit on it, and it's fine if you loosen up a little bit. You know, if you did happen to have a problem, you could always take it back apart and put more padding in or something like that. You know, anyway, that's the deal on that. So everything is good on the top piece. I've got the end sewn on it, and we've just got to we'll have to insert the 1/4-inch foam in the center and on the ends before we put it together, before we put it on there. Anyway, you know, believe it or not, it's, you know, the hottest day of the year. I think it's up in the 90s already, and it's, you know, 10:30 in the morning. And I did leave that pine straw on the roof, and this building has been sitting in the same spot for years. So there's trees above it, and there's also some kudzu vine, which is, well, let me rephrase that. There's not kudzu vine, muscadine grapes, yeah, them kind of vines, whatever them vines are. And you know, so I got grapes every year on it that we actually get and eat, but they're wild, of course. But and the trees above it really help out. So as long as I've got this fan running, with it being 90-something degrees outside, I mean, I'm not even broken a sweat. So I mean, it's very, very manageable in here. It's not real hot like you would think it would be, being in a box. But so really, I can work in here where I can't work outside because the sun's so daggone hot. But anyway, another thing too, the guy that I had spoke to about doing the, let me see, he was going to do the front seat, bottom and backs, and then the back seat bottoms for the Studebaker Golden Hawk. I had gotten 2 different prices from 2 different people, but just for that, the front seat, the entire front seat, and the 2 bottoms for the back, it was going to be $1,000. That was the cheap estimate. And you know, I'm not saying that that's a you know, an expensive price. I mean, probably was a pretty good price for the work involved, and he'd have to get materials and and all that, and work on the foam, and then he's got to be able to guarantee his work, because somebody comes back complaining or getting mad afterwards. But he does work in a building that is probably half the size of this, again, bigger than this one. In other words, it's not as small as this. It's a storage building with a little piece built onto it. But I always wondered, how does that man do that in that small building? And then here, I open this little thing up to an upholstery room, and I got to say that if you're just doing seat upholstery, not doing couches, like that, and you plan on not, keeping a big stock of seats or a big stock of material or something, this is not that bad. This is actually plenty big enough, and this is it's either 14 or 16, probably 16 foot, I'd say, regular box. And surprisingly, even with the big giant fan sitting in here, there's room, and which could be done away with, and a fan put up in the corner or something like that would even be better. But and I've got some extra room. Really, I could add a little bit more table space, over to this side or against that wall or something like that, and we may do. And then I've still got another 5 feet from the table out to the door from this sewing machine table. So was real surprised on the size of it. And just so you'll know, the other price that I had gotten for them same seats, which was the full front seat and the two bottoms for the back, from the other guy, was $1,800. So I figured that by the time you got through with the interior and the Studebaker Golden Hawk, you was going to probably have, if you paid somebody, at least $3,000, $3,500 maybe. You're talking about door panels and carpet, and headliner, and everything. So, I could see that, in a full upholstery job in a car costing, $4,000, and I don't want to pay that kind of money, and I don't know anybody personally that does want to pay that kind of money, and that's why I just decided to do it myself. I mean, it's not rocket science. The materials, this big roll was $40. The two small rolls I used for inserts was $1 a piece. So I've got $42 in fabric materials. Now you got to figure thread, $3 a roll or $2 something a roll. I'm probably going to be using 6 rolls of that time I'm done. The bobbin, I have trouble keeping my bobbins full all the time, but anyway, and then the foam is what is expensive. And I'm not going to lie to you, we bought a couple pieces of foam, and then I just decided to get used foam. And used foam is fine. I don't have any problem with it. It's not coming apart, it's not falling apart or anything like that. So I'm putting some used foam in. Hog rings are not expensive. I bought 2,000 of them. That way I wouldn't have to worry about not having a stock of them. And let me see. I mean, the expense is not really that bad. Once you get set up, and my sewing machine, with the table, the motor, everything on it, I gave $200 for, and I'm more than happy with it. I looked at a lot of them. I actually had one that I had bought, or well, according to the seller, I had bought, but they sold it out from under me. That happens sometimes. Which was a little newer machine, not much newer, but I mean a little newer. That's crazy when you say newer, and it was probably in the 50s. But I'm happy, 100% happy with this machine. I don't have any issues. I'm surprised, but that's the way it goes. I haven't had to do much work on it whatsoever, and just like I said, keep it oiled, because it's like anything else. You start getting dry parts and friction, you're going to have problems. But anyway, so far everything's worked out good. As you can see, we're starting to figure out what you got to have for an upholstery shop. I've never really been around an upholstery shop, so I don't know what kind of stuff they keep, but cording and spray glue, and you got to have a pink measuring tape, and it wouldn't be pink if they had any other color, but I had to have one. And just slowly learning that trade. And I'm not going to do this forever. I'm going to do this and get some things done I want to get done, and I'm going to move on to the next thing, and that's the way I do it. And you learn a bunch of trades, and it's not like I'm planning on going to work or making a living from it, but it's always something good to know and good to have, and I just enjoy learning this stuff, and you know, when I get bored with this, I'll learn another trade. So anyway, let's get at it and get this seat finished up. I'd love to have this thing in the car before the end of the day, and we'll see how that works out. Alright, okay, we got it laid out here, and as you can see, my foam and my top, I guess you could call it, and it's of course oversized and a little crooked, but I wasn't worried about that when I put it together, because I knew I've got to go around it and mark. So what I've decided and what I'm doing, I just try to go straight down and mark, because if you go under it all, or if you come out here at all, you know, you're going to be loose or tight. You always got to figure that there's going to be a 3/8, however far you go, you need to go 3/8 farther because of the seam, and but you know, things stretch. So yeah, I come to the conclusion, if you just about go straight down with this, it leaves it about 3/8 away from the edge, and because of this ugly, this is sidewalk chalk. I borrowed this from my grandson, but that's about the best to do. Go around it, just go all the way around it, and then cut it out, and then sew on your piping, and it should work. You know, we'll go through and just mark and cut off the pieces we need to cut off here, and shouldn't have any issues there. And this end, and then of course the back, and then we'll trim it out. And another thing you can do is trim out one side, fold it, and do the other side in half, and that way you know that you've got it exact from one side to the other. And you know, we marked middle. You definitely got to have front and back right in the middle, and if you don't do that, then there's no way you're going to get your pleats to line up on your inserts. So that's what we're trying to do. So let me get at it and we'll see how it works out. Okay folks, we got the piping sewed to the top, and I'm going to say that this is probably the toughest part, and that is getting this the right size to where, you know, it goes over it and it's not too far over or too far back or nothing like that, and you're able to stretch it right. So I think once we get the hang of this part, you know, everything else is pretty easy, because the other stuff you can measure, and you know, you know how far it is from here to here, you know, and what you need to wrap around, and then you can get an idea, you know, subtract a little bit from it so you can get a good pull on it. That's not a big deal. Anything that you can measure and come up with is not a problem. The stuff you got to guess at, or you got to you know, well, basically guess at until you're experienced enough to do it, is how far this needs to come out. And I guess just try to make it, you know, about the size of your piece, and then it should work out from there. And like I said, when I get my other foam in here, all these wrinkles will be gone and stuff. So that's where we're at. We'll go ahead and start measuring and make my front, and we're going to sew it on the corners like we did the last time, except we're going to start sewing in the center, back that way all the way around to the back, and then from the center all the way around to the back. And that way we don't screw up like we did last time and get our sew lines off at the end. And the little things that you figure out along the way, and the little tips that you read and learn, and that's where you you know, start to get the hang of things and start doing, you know, getting better at something. And I appreciate all the comments a lot. You know, I don't claim to know what I'm doing at all, but we're just, you know, learning, and I appreciate everybody learning along with me here. And you know, when I make mistakes, I'm going to show you. There's no way around that, because, you know, how are you going to learn, or how's anybody going to learn from my mistakes? I mean, it's easy for me to learn from my mistakes. It's smart for you to learn from my mistakes. So let me get at it and get to measuring, and we'll get this done. Okay folks, got the front seat finished. Not bad, not perfect. It's not lined up. This one's lined up pretty good. This one's a little bit off. I think what it is I didn't allow for stretching my material right here when I put it together. So now if I go back about, you know, 3/8 of an inch, and allow for 3/8 stretch along with the seams, I think that would bring it back to where it would be perfect, which is what I'm shooting for. But you know, I can live with less than perfect. And so this is a little less than perfect, but that's okay. I like it anyway. And a couple little wrinkles here I can probably get out along the front. They look a lot worse on camera than they do in person, but I still would like to see if I can pull them out. I think I can get them out. And besides that, it looks pretty good. Luckily, the pieces where they were folded, you know, that finally pretty much come back out. And this is nice and tight. This seat's a lot more rounded, which is what I was looking for, instead of like the one I'd done on this same one before where it was just flat. So like I said, I'm learning as I go and absolutely picking up a few things anyway. So anyway, so now it's time to do something with the carpet. And I was going to do the door panels on this video. I probably won't do them on this video because I'm actually waiting for door parts, window parts, stuff like that. So I could start on them and go ahead and get them done. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They've got to be done either way, so I mean I can do them beforehand. But seat's done anyway. No more seat work for that particular car. Only carpet, of course, door panels, and the kick panels. So, alright, we'll keep at it and see what we get done. Okay folks, we're just trying to figure out something on the carpet. So what I've done, I've still got my carpet in the back here, but I have taken some other carpet that was extra and just tried to cut it up and seeing how this thing's going to fit in with the hump. You know, hump's real regular. It's got a place here and there's a place, you know, down in here. So I mean, I'm never going to get the lay on it perfect, but I think if I do this in 3 pieces, one in the center like I've got, and then 2 on the sides, I think I can make it look decent. Now I'm trying to figure out, I don't think I could fold the carpet and sew it and make it look good, so I need to have something on the end of the carpet to cap it and then try to sew it. Maybe I can come up with something, but I think I can make it look decent. I mean, it's never going to look perfect, and I've had trouble trying to find carpet for this thing, and you know, I really don't want to spend the money. This carpet here, this is the bad part of it. At the beginning of the row, the rest of the carpet's in really good shape, but this carpet came out of the 61 Dodge Lancer. When we bought it, it was rolled up in the back. Some of you may remember the video when Noah said something about a roll of carpet in it. So we're just trying to get something figured out to lay in here. This is pretty much not quite flat, but I mean, this would be easy to do. And bring this seam under the seat, and then that just leaves us with 2 center seams that you're going to be able to see. And I think this is good enough. I think I could get it down and get it sort of molded in good enough. Not this particular piece, of course. This is scrap, but a piece like this that goes back farther, because I want it to be under the seat, and the seat mount is right here. So I would have to go back another 3 or 4 inches would do it, but I want to go back a little farther than that. And but I think that's what I need to do. Ooh, phone time. Okay, to do the edge of the carpet, what I decided to do a test piece here. I took a seat belt, and believe it or not, seat belts have gotten a lot longer over the years since people have gotten a lot bigger. And this is just one belt out of one belt split down the center out of a rear of a Volkswagen newer model Bug. So I'm going to fold this over the edge and sew it and see if we can make it look decent. And we'll put the factory edge to the top side. So if it'll sew through 2 pieces of seat belt and this carpet, which is thick back, then we know we got a good sewing machine, right? Alright, looks like it's going to sew good as long as I can hold it good. You know, I didn't start out very well there, but besides that, I think it went fine. I didn't have it folded right. But seat belt material, I was trying to pull apart since I cut it, but it's not going to go any farther than the thread. I could use a full seat belt and just leave the reveal and let it wrap down below, if that seems like it's going to be a problem. Let's see what it does. See if we can actually mess it up. I think it would be. See if I can rip it apart here. Since this is a practice piece. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see I pulled it loose after I shaved it back. So what I'm going to do is we're going to call this one a waist. We'll go get another seat belt. I got plenty of black seat belt. It's not a, it's not like I don't have probably 50 of them, but we'll go cut another one. We're going to do it different this time. We're going to leave it full, and we'll just try to do the reveal even on the front, and leave the full seat belt on the back because I don't need it doing this stuff. So I guess if you cut it, it is just screwed, right? Let's see. Yep. Okay. Learn something new every day, don't I? Alright. Well, I could sell that as a wig or some hair. That'd make a nice mustache, wouldn't it? Alright. Let's get some more seat belt, and then we'll try to actually do some real work instead of practice. Alright. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got our hump cut out to the best of our ability. And we've got a full seat belt here, and it just happens to be long enough to go all the way around. So now we're going to fold it and sew it on and just see how it looks. Alright, here's what we got going on with the carpet. Not real happy with the turnout. The problem is trying to get it to lay in there. It's all but impossible, but I mean, we're going to do it the best we can do it. And as you can see, this side's in, or laying in, it's all I'm doing is fitting everything. The problem is this, even if I got it to form on this hump right, I'll show you what we've got. It's even got a bump out for the starter right there. And I did notice the bottom of my gas pedal is over this way a little bit. It's not straight, so I'm going to move it over to the toward the driver's side just a little bit at the bottom, and that'll make sure that we don't get too close to this thing. I don't want anything to happen. You can see where it's running. I don't want anything to happen to where the gas pedal sticks, of course. I don't think that would be an issue, but we don't want to take a chance. Anyway, I can play with it a little bit. The seatbelt material did not like going around a turn, but I did get it sewn in. A few wrinkles in it that would probably eventually come out. But it's a better line than just looking, rough, like a rough cut on carpet. So we're going to continue with what we're doing and go ahead and get it together. I'm hoping just to have the seats sitting in it tonight. Just, temporary where I can move this thing around and just see what it's going to look like complete. It does sit good and everything. And then, like I said, door panels, kick panels. We're going to take that heater out. And we're going to do some cleaning up and stuff on the dash here soon. And like I said, we're going to do some wood graining. And I don't know how much we're going to do on the dash, but we're going to do the wood graining and just some touch-up paint and stuff, and clean some stuff up that needs cleaned up. And shouldn't be too bad. We'll do that with the carpet out. And like I said, the bezel, the garnish moldings, and then the moldings around the windshield right here will end up getting wood grain. And we'll just see how it works out. I'm debating on whether to do these rear panels back here, if I'm going to do them or not. There's, 3 of them. I may do them. I think it might look good back here. And that's the only thing that really don't look decent. So, alright. Anyway, let me see if I can get at it and get this seat. I still haven't done this. I keep forgetting about it. We'll try to get to that. And somebody said something about the ashtrays. These ashtrays come right out. There's 2 screws. I got the metal plate in there where it can't move. So we'll pull these back out. I was hoping to find some in better shape because these are not, there's too much rust there. The chrome's missing. So all we can do is take them out, clean them up and paint them. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, but it's not an issue to take them out. Well, folks, I was going to keep working on this, but it looks like I have got a tow to go do. So we're going to just go ahead and end this here because it's going to be late when I get back and I'm not going to be able to work out here on it. So hopefully I can pick this up again and we can get this seat in, and we'll keep rolling on it. Like I said, parts come in for the door, we'll go ahead and get the windows in, and all the channel and the cat whiskers and all that good stuff. So alright, appreciate it, and until next time, bye.